Hello and welcome everybody to another wonderful night of Wednesday Race in Action. We are live here at the Tricky Triangle and already having the technology of the mountains of Pocono here in Pennsylvania. Man, this is going to be a great one, and just like that says right there on that wall, what turn for? Got three crazy different turns here, and that's why they call this track so tricky. But we're in for 100 laps, two separate stages here, as we're going to have a multi-stage break in between to keep things flowing nice and smooth. I'm Alan Brown, and I'm joined in the booth, as always, by Mr. Alan English. Alan, how you doing tonight, man?
Good, man. I always enjoy coming to this track. It doesn't matter what platform we're in, but the trucks are some of the most fun, uh, you know, platforms out there. And you put those two together, and what do you get? You get some exciting racing. So, like you mentioned, each corner's different. The drivers are. You can't forget where you're at on the track. That's happened to me at Pocono before. Kind of forget which turn I'm approaching and mess it up. It can be done. So I'm just saying. Hopefully these guys got some practice in, and maybe they won't be doing that. But yeah, stage breaks for tonight are going to be at lap 30 and at lap 60, and the pits are going to close at the beginning of lap 27 and 57. So it's going to be an awesome deal. I like the way they have this race set up, and it should be a lot of fun.
That it should be, as down there on pit road, here's Mr. Adam Turner. Adam, how are you doing tonight, man?
Man, I'm good as usual. Pocono. Had some stories about this place. It can be fun, but it can be very tough, like you mentioned. We have one fast repair, 13x incident points, and you're out of the race, man. You're DQ'd, so you got to pay attention to some of that. 60% fuel, 5 sets of tires, 100 laps, and then even Louisiana math. That's 250 miles tonight here in Pocono.
Yes, sir, it is. As we look at tonight's race info, should be pretty nice weather out there. Not too hot for these drivers, and this track is tough enough. Bringing us down to that key to the race, and it is don't overextend. It's very easy to maybe get a little too fast into some of these corners, thinking you can really push it. But man, once when those tires start going after probably 6 or 7 laps, man, that outside wall will just sneak up and grab you.
One's going to be the booger for that for most guys. I think it was always my least favorite turn. The others two I could kind of get and find a good entry point and just back it up as you get tire wear. But turn one's kind of different. People run some different lines going into there. I like to try to stay outside as long as I can and wait to dip it down in there. Some guys like to start at the bottom of the track and float up and then back down again, kind of a diamond. So we'll see some different lines, I think, going into one. What's really going to be difficult here is the start of the race and the restarts because you're going to be too wide going into one for the most part. So it's going to be a little bit of give and take, and we'll see how these guys can kind of maybe zipper those lines together. We'll see.
Yes, that we will. As we're in the middle of qualifying here, quite a few people have put in official times, and track favorite, the 84 Josh Bittner, currently sitting on top there, and he was one of the big proponents to try to push this track to add it to this season's schedule, so we definitely expect him to do well here tonight. Timothy Pope and Jess Vaught all up there as well. Same thing with Jonathan Osborne. All these guys very fast at some of these trickier tracks.
And I'm over here listening to all the race rules. That's longer than the Declaration of Independence. I can't tell what's happening out here on the track. These guys mean business. They got a lot of rules, and you better abide by them, or you are going to get penalized. That's part of this deal with the Vigilante Racing League. Thank Keller Williams, Johnson City, Tennessee. D&D Race Graphics. Y'all can talk about that. I'm sure we'll talk about that throughout the race. Ricky Wittenberg's businesses.
A lot of rules in this league, but they're all for a reason, and it makes for some really exciting racing. This is some of the best racing you're going to see broadcasted on iRacing. It's very competitive. They have some rules in place to kind of make it more competitive. Sending the top three from last week will be starting in the back, not qualifying. So it's to kind of add some parity and some fairness in there, kind of handicap some of the better drivers. And well, it seems like most of the time they're able to make it most of the way back up through the field anyhow. But they're doing the best they can here to make it good and competitive.
That they do, as we're just waiting here for about 30 more seconds, and then we're going to be bringing it on down into... Yeah, do these guys start on pit lane here? We don't know. It might be on track.
Sure. Well, it's kind of different sometimes. It'll surprise us, when they do the Le Mans style start like we saw the other night, and then sometimes they'll parade lap by starting at the start finish line. So we will see here as we wait for the grid here in just a second. What's the over under on it? Let's see. I don't know. I bet they start in the pit lane. Pits.
Starting in the pits.
Starting in the pits. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get everything all set up and ready and go through our official starting grid rundown here tonight. And that's going to start us off here with Josh Bittner driving that 84 machine on pole position. Timothy Pope driving the 728 is going to start here in second on that outside. The 33 of Jess Vaught will start here in third. The 81 Jonathan Osborne is going to be starting here in fourth, with the 01 of Kelly Keel starting in fifth. Mike Adamson driving the 51 machine had a really solid week last week. Even had some incidents, but he's going to start here tonight in sixth. Ricky Wittenberg driving the 55 is going to start here seventh, with Dale Adamson starting in eighth. The 72 Chandler Paul is going to start in ninth, with the 214 of Jeffrey Ottinger rounding out tonight's starting top 10.
The 753 of Jeremiah Burke will be starting inside row number 6, and on the outside of him, the 4 of Dion Jones. The next row behind him, 88 of Eric Klafka on the inside, and Dave Hot Rod Mayberry in the 29 on the outside. Row number 8 is going to be the 3 of Austin Paul and the 7 of Russ Kilgore. Row number 9 is going to be the 15 of Jeffrey Green and the 203 of Earl Evans. And row number 10 is going to be made up of Michael Everidge in the inside in the 82 and Dustin Reilly in the 37 on the outside.
Yeah, and the rest of these, they could be jumbled up. Not quite sure, but 257 Russell Endicott, 21st position. 221 of John Ellis in 22nd. The number 2 of Albert Anderson, America's driver there, in 23rd. 14 of John Herzik in 24th. 28 of George Rincon, 25th. 999 of Jeff Snyder, 31st. 07 of Jack Dixon, 26th. It's like the 211 of Douglas Camp, 28th. Rob Green, 29th. And 202 of Justin French, 30th. So that may change with some of the EOLs, but that's pretty much your grid.
There we go, as everybody making that turn to come on down pit lane and out onto the racing surface, all single filed out. We will be stacking it up to go 2 wide racing here with Josh and Tim up at that front. Like you were saying earlier, a big shout out to our sponsors, D&D Racing Graphix, as everything's not freaking working tonight. Gosh, this is terrible. D&D Race Graphics, you can go find them on Trading Paints or Facebook. That is DND Race Graphics, and it's FIX for that, graphics. Mr. Ricky Wittenberg paints a lot of these trucks that you see out here tonight, and man, oh man, do they look wonderful. So go definitely go give him a shout out if you're looking to get a paint job done. But the same thing goes with the Keller Williams of Johnson City, Tennessee. You can reach Ricky there at 423-444-0454. Go ahead and get yourself a good quality realtor. Call Ricky today. He can help you whether you're in that Tennessee area or across the United States, as he can get you in contact with somebody you know and can trust. Don't buy or sell your house alone. Get yourself a good quality realtor. As we exit turn number 3 here, that pace truck's going to come diving off down and into the pit lane. So here we go. Green flags out and waving 2 by 2 we go. Down and across the start-finish line and down this long front straightaway. Oh man, as we got people spinning tires and stuff way in the back here. And that's going to cause our first yellow.
91 had to flip 50 times.
Yeah.
I didn't even see how that was caused, but wow.
Might want to check the 81 at Osborne. He mentioned something about a shift. He shifted too early and stacked them up, I think.
So, yeah.
Boy,
Let's rewind this bad boy and take ourselves a look-see here to see if we can't see anything where this all started.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Let's see here. Let's find somebody because it started.
91's going to be the replay for the ages right there.
Yes, sir, he is. That was a wild ride for him. As let's take a look. See here. Where did it start?
37 got loose. Dustin really.
Yeah, he did. He was going up with a big head of steam, and that's where the field checkup happened. And man, I don't know if the shift just kind of got him extremely loose, but he went down, tagged. He tagged somebody here.
Earl Evans.
The Earl Evans in that 203 tagged him, got down into that 91 who went for a wild ride. As everything's still trying to load here.
To be honest, I wasn't expecting that right off the bat. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anybody flip that many times on a start. That was amazing.
On top of the pit wall too.
If he's in VR headset, he's probably done for the night. He's probably have concussion.
Sweet. Let's go back and take a quick look and see what happened here to the 91 of Rob Green. Up and down and flippy floppity loopity doopity all the way down to the complete end of the road there. Looks like that 221 of John Ellis was able to actually avoid just about everything there. He was starting out there in the back as he was the winner last week, but Captain Crunch on that 91 is a very apt name here because that car has been crunched.
It's a bag of crumbs now. Ricky Wittenberg.
That's the worst.
Ricky Wittenberg looks like he'll, because he started from the pits, so he'll likely. Did he get out in front of everybody? I think he did. They have. Let me see. Is he on the lead lap now?
I think he should be.
Yeah, he should.
You're talking about Captain Crunch. Yeah, can you imagine getting in the bag of that? Trying to have some cereal with all that stuff crunched up? That's the worst.
Hey, when you dump it in the bowl and it's powder.
Yeah, at the bottom of the bag. That's what happened that time.
What happens with my regular Cheerios? There's always a handful of powder in the bottom. Well, you guys got any picks for tonight? I know for a fact one guy I'm gonna be watching very, very closely tonight, and that's that 84 of Bittner. This is his track, man. So keep your eyes on that Keller Williams number 84. I think that's gonna be the guy to watch tonight. What do you guys think?
You want me to go out on a limb, or do you want me to just pick Pope? Should I just pick Pope, or
you can
somebody else?
You can pick whoever you want to, man.
You can pick whoever.
You know what? I like Pope to win, of course, as usual. But you know who I think would probably do well here, just because.
Who's that?
I think Jonathan Osborne's going to have a good night tonight. I just have this feeling about it.
We'll see. He's going to be restarting in 7th position or so.
I hope I didn't curse him.
Maybe, but another person who I think is going to actually do extremely well here, I think it's the 4 of Dion Jones. He's really due for a good race here. I think Dion might be able to keep that 4 truck in the correct line that he wants to be running here and sneak around some people and find himself up to that podium.
Well, regardless who wins,
Pretty
I'll
good.
just claim that I picked him anyway.
That's who I was really wanting.
Yeah, I was gonna say that guy.
Jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, might as well.
Everybody was a Saints fan after they won a Super Bowl.
No, that was miserable.
Like, where you guys been for the past however many years? I suffered through the Aaron Brooks years.
Were you wearing a bag over your head?
Yes, I did. Proudly. My
Well,
eye holes cut out and everything.
getting all ready to stack back up and go back to racing here as these trucks are going to be entering turn 3 here in just a second as I'm trying to find everything.
Proudly ashamed of my team, yes.
My goodness, nothing works tonight. This is annoying. Oh. Either way, going through turn number 3 here behind that pace truck, Bittner and Jess Vaught. He was able to sneak around on that inside line just as things started getting going here. So pace truck now coming off down and in. So let's try this one more time here. Green flag at Pocono, side by side, down and across the line. Looks to be a much better start here. No trucks flipping at least as we go to racing. Down and into turn number 1 for the first time here without that yellow flag. Still side by side. You got Bittner and Pope still going, or excuse me, Bittner and Vaught, as Pope is still side by side with Kelly Keel, who's right behind Jess Vaught there in that 3rd and 4th spot. But everyone getting through turn 1 number very nicely, and we're still looking good and 2 wide up here up at the front, which is very surprising.
Yeah, Russ Endicott made a couple moves right there. Right as they were going into turn 1, he had a pretty good head of steam and a couple of pretty clean passes, good situational awareness by the 257.
Yeah, and they were fighting that turn 2. We're going to talk about turn 2. That's a tough one there. That's where we're going to see some stuff happen, I believe.
As Jess Vaught was able to use that outside momentum and get out in front of Josh Bittner. So Jess Vaught's going to take the lead here for the first time tonight, going through turns 1. Kind of weird not saying turn 1 and 2. It's just turn number 1.
turn number 1, period, dot. But this is such a cool track, though, because each turn is different. And, you know, it's a setup tweaker's nightmare because you can kind of try to set your truck up or car, whatever you're racing, to go good in turn 1, and then lo and behold, whatever you did to make yourself good in turn 1, you probably just screwed up your setup for turns 2 and 3 because they're all completely different.
As we're taking a look here at the 753 of Jeremiah Burke, already up 6 spots on the day into a top 5. He's looking mighty strong here tonight as we take a ride around in his cockpit to go through turn number 1. And he's trying to chase down get to Timothy Pope here. It looks like he's getting a really good exit. And this is one of those interesting tracks where, you know, you want the clean air, but when you get to these long straights, whether it's this back stretch or the front stretch, you really want to be behind somebody to get some of that draft going.
They come up, start approaching turn 3. You got to keep in mind, turn 3 is the lowest banked turn here, and it's also seems like it lasts forever. So you can really abuse your tires without really trying too hard. But it's a 6-degree bank in turn 3. Turn 2 is 8 degrees. Turn 1 with the most banking, 14 degrees of good banking. That's why you can carry so much speed into 1.
As we look back through this field, everything's starting to really single file out. I think everybody just ready to kind of jump up into line and maybe take things one step at a time. Here is Austin Paul driving that 3 machine. He's been losing a few spots. He was up 6 or 7 spots at one point, but he's now back to 10th, up 5 on the day so far. Same thing with the 82 of Mike Everett. He's currently in 13th, up 6 spots. He's doing extremely well here to kind of fight and claw his way, making all the moves early that he can, driving that 82 machine.
Let me ask you guys this. This is one of those tracks where in turn 3, sometimes we can see people downshifting. Maybe we can do a ride. We got a big backup right here.
Burke 753 got turned a little sideways. He held it, so I think it slowed everything up.
Kind of looking back at it, yes, it did. As you can see, Ricky Wittenberg coming out of the pits here. I think he's might be having some technical issues as well, as he's now rejoining the track, just a lap or two down here, trying to get that momentum ball back and rolling. As kind of right in front of Jeremiah Burke here, we got Mike Adamson, been fighting and clawing his way through this field, trying to inch his way forward. He just made his way around the 88 of Eric Klafka. He's now trying to hunt down that 72 of Chandler Paul.
Ricky having some connection problems, I think. I know the storms that went through here yesterday, kind of going through the eastern realms over there now. It might already be past it, but sometimes there's really no rhyme or reason for it. Sometimes you just lose connection. Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of gear set these guys are running, if we're going to see anybody shifting in 3 or not. That's probably not. You're not getting quite the speed range out of these trucks as you would like a Cup car or, Indy cars. Man, these guys are shifting around here all damn day.
As Mike Adamson makes the pass on Chandler Paul there, makes it look very easy, able to slide right on through in turn number 2, also known as the tunnel turn, as these guys start to maybe look to go about too wide here again, as not Chandler Paul, but Dale Adamson working his way around Austin Paul right now on the outside, going down the long front straightaway.
Johnny Leidick joining us over on Facebook. Thanks for joining us, Johnny. Go ahead, Adam.
Oh man, that's a blast from the past. Like a lot of these guys, you can start seeing a little bit of sliding coming out of these turns. I'm assuming we're going to start seeing a little bit of that tire fall off, and we'll see if it affects any of them. Especially in a tunnel turn where you're bound to hit your teammate. I mean, that normally happens in the tunnel turn too.
That was like 2 years ago.
Seems like yesterday.
Still bitter about it. I told you, man, it was foggy. My spotter wasn't working.
Yeah,
the track was hot. My right front was worn.
Right. So basically, what I'm saying is turn 2.
Hit me. Yeah.
Watch out. That's a dangerous one. People apparently overdrive it all the time.
Ooh, as we saw in the background there, Ricky Wittenberg almost tagging that outside wall as we're watching here. Jess Vaught in the 33 continued to lead this race, starting to drive away a little bit from the 84 of Josh Bittner. I think Bittner might be in the tire save mode as he's got Timothy Pope all up his rear end here. Timothy Pope looking to continue to crawl his way back up here and maybe try to get into that first place spot. But Kelly Keel sticking strong, currently riding around in 4th. And after that, we got a big old gap back to 5th, about a second and a half. And that's a very large gap, especially at this track.
60% fuel. These guys aren't going to make a whole stage. So I'm thinking we might see some guys maybe trying to split it here. Even with the caution, you might back that up a couple of laps, but probably lap 15, 17, 18, you're going to start seeing a busy pit road, I believe.
As we go through turn number 1, you got the 88 and the 254, Dale Adamson and Eric Klafka side by side there, leaving each other just enough room to get through that turn. And they're still going to be side by side as they enter this long back straightaway. This is kind of one of those tracks where you really have to set up your passes, and you don't want to be side by side as you enter that long back straight, as the 254 kind of slide jobs the 88 through turn number 2.
Yeah, he knew what it was going to take to get around him, and he made it happen. Go ahead, Adam. Sorry.
No, it just looked like the old dirt track move there. Split up on him. No crossover, though.
Sailor 2 Chan, the man, doing the best he can. Down the front stretch here. One will go around him. I don't know if the 88's going to get there. Nope, not quite.
Not quite, but that's also part of that setting up. You can you can set yourself up to get a big run coming out of turn number 1 and set you up for that pass on the long straightaway. And you can really maximize that usage of the draft that these trucks punch such a big hole for.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I bet they're wishing they had some tires right about now. I bet they're getting a little bit more of that fall off than they want.
George Rincon looks like he's been saving tires. He just made a personal best lap around here for the race, 55.44.
Currently riding around in 18th, trying to catch on up to that 2 of Albert Anderson. He's got the 221 of John Ellis sitting back there behind him. And same thing with, I think, Justin French, as John Ellis sporting that Home Depot paint that's picked him up a couple of wins here. Looking to maybe find his way through some luck and some skill to get and pick up a 3rd win in a row, which would be a very, very good feat here as Timothy Pope drives around the 84 Josh Bittner as they exited the turn number 2 and go into turn number 3.
Well, you mentioned the 4 machine, but Deion Jones, he is getting passed right now by Mayberry, and the 7 and the Rob Baker Ford F-150 right behind him here. Guys still trying to kind of find the best line through 3, it looks like, as the 7 kind of high late there in turn 3.
Yeah, it's amazing the differences in how you approach each turn, and the more you lift, as the tire wear goes on, and how you save tires. There's a lot of strategy here at Pocono.
And that there is, and it's one of those tracks where if you can kind of get the truck a little loose going through 3, you get a really good rotation out of that. The Ford goes for a ride. Is he able to save it? No, hard into the inside wall. It's back on the track. Trying to stay out of everybody's way. He's outside at the wall. Looks like no caution for that as Jess Vaught, Kelly Keel, Dale Adamson, Chandler Paul, Austin Paul, Jeff Green, Dave Hot Rod Mayberry, and Russ Kilgore all coming down into the pits. Timothy Pope
around. I'm sorry. 91 got hit in the tail end again as he was trying to pit. So he lost. The back end is done on that truck again.
Andrew Hansley saying hi to us over on Facebook, and Johnny Nidick says, well, got to get back to work. You guys are doing a great job. Yeah, they're doing a great job out there on the track for the most part. Got a couple accidents here so far, but we're staying green for now for these pit stops.
As the 728 of Timothy Pope comes on down into pit lane. Let's see, anyone else going to follow him? Looks like the 214 of Jeffrey Ottinger will, but Mike Everidge driving that 82 and Jonathan Osborne driving the 81 will stay on out here and continue to put some laps down. George Rincon, Albert Anderson, and John Ellis are staying out as well. A lot of these guys who were kind of in the back for when that caution came out there at the restart, I think they all just came down to make sure they had everything all topped up and, fresh tires and fuel and everything.
Everidge, Osborne, and George Rincon, 28, all staying out still. Mike Everidge getting that valuable lap lead point.
That he is, as we're starting to see some of the trucks that did pit. You got the 999 of Jeff Snyder. He's coming down, trying to, with those new fresh rubber, try to pass some people. But, oh man, Dustin really having a big old problem there. Let's go back and see what happened with Dustin here. As he was going through turn number 3, getting into that outside wall, or excuse me, that was turn number 2. And man, he was fighting that thing all the way down, and ooh, hard impact into the inside wall.
These guys, how many fast repairs we got there, Turner? One?
One fast repair.
Oh.
And
Man,
don't
that's
forget
the
the
wall
incident points too.
That's the part of the wall where it's very flat, and he just hit it at a 90-degree angle. Man, I just saw the really footage. Sorry.
Yeah, that was a very hard impact there for him as Mike Everidge continues to drive around here in the lead, and George Rincon sitting there behind him, and I still got a few people that haven't pitted, but kind of looking at where everybody is, man, Timothy Pope's got some work to do to try to get back up here kind of towards that lead. Same thing with Jess Vaught and Josh Bittner, who are nose to tail right now, sitting back in 7th, a good chunk away from where Mike Everidge is, and that's kind of where that haven't pit line happened. You got the top 6 guys of Endicott, Evans, Ellis, Anderson, Rincon, and Everidge, all without that secondary pit stop yet.
It's been really out of the race, manually disconnected. I couldn't tell if he was victim of the incident points or he just had a destroyed race truck. Either way, Dustin really done for the night.
Heartbreak for really as he was involved in that first
Looked like as soon as he hit the wall, his truck disappeared. I don't think he could tow that fast.
No, I think it was jump out of the car and put the helmet down and just wait for the free ambulance ride back to the center field.
Just run around asking for Tom Cruise.
Use your witchcraft to put the fire out.
Yeah. Mike Everidge comes down and into pit lane, so George Rincon's going to be getting some valuable laps here with Albert Anderson behind him a good chunk away, and John Ellis as well. Again, like I said, all these guys have pitted right around lap 3, lap 2, so they can go a little bit extra distance, but still I don't think that extra distance is enough. And no, as George Rincon, John Ellis, and Albert Anderson coming down now. Man, Albert Anderson taking the cautious route. He's been one to get snagged by that pit lane speed limit violation every once in a while, so he's making sure he doesn't get one of those here tonight. And looks like this is going to complete our field work through here as Jess Vaught comes back across the line. He's going to take the lead back with Timothy Pope right behind him and Josh Bittner right behind that. So the top 3 all nose to tail, but the 51 of Mike Adamson, he's really moving his way up through right now. He's just a few seconds back right behind this lead group, and I think especially when we get the stage caution here in about 8 or so laps and get everything all stacked back up, I think people have kind of found out their rhythm and found out what they can and can't do, and I think things will stay pretty close here from now on out.
Well, Mike Adamson in the 51 machine, he was one of the guys that was saying last night on another stream that he was really looking forward to Pocono tonight. So one of those cats that he probably put some extra laps in because he said he couldn't wait for this race.
You either love it or you hate it, I think, is the deal with Pocono. Well, Jeffrey Green having some issues going into 3. Kind of slowed down Everidge to see if they can get around him.
Man, got a big wad of trucks there. Everidge, Russ Kilgore in that 7. Man, that 7 is using some of that draft to try to get his way forward. Same thing with that 28 of George Rincon.
Andrew Hansley pulling for the number 2 tonight.
Yeah, America's driver.
Anderson did get his pit stop complete, so they got 25 trucks on lead lap. Too bad.
Well, not as all as, man, that 15 of Jeffrey Green, he's having some real issues going through turn number 2 here. I think he just might be pushing it in just a little too hot because he's been extended out and almost tagging that outside wall quite a few times.
It's the one that's smooth pays,
Is that a matter of you got to get your lift point just perfect right there in the tunnel turn?
That you have to be able to feel what's going on with the truck and you're kind of feathering the gas as you come across midway through that turn, and trying to get power back down as soon as you can. And I like to let it kind of drift towards the outside wall, coming out of too. Try to carry as much speed as you can.
And I think the other thing is he's been too wide with people here for the last few laps, so he's really not even getting a good start, at least truck position-wise, going through that turn to try to hit that apex just right. As we move ahead to Dale Adamson and the 01 of Kelly Keel, both side by side as they come across the line here in a battle for sixth. Right now, Dale Adamson on that inside line trying to creep he's on the outside trying to get a drive off of turn number 1 here to get out in front of Kelly, and it looks like he will.
Yeah, they
Buck
just gotta,
continues the lead out here for now.
yeah, you just gotta hang in a few more laps before we hit this stage race. 30 at lap 30 is where we're gonna have our first stage.
Gown over on YouTube says, I'm honored to have met America's Driver in person last weekend. He is a legend. That he is.
It's a great picture between Josh Bittner and Albert Anderson there. I think they were meeting up at Old Dominion Raceway there.
Oh, okay. Good deal.
So we continue to tick laps away. Lap 26 out of 100 coming up on that first kind of little break here that these drivers are going to get, as Timothy Pope is right on that tail, hot on the heels of Jess Vaught. Josh Bittner kind of falling off the pace just a little bit here, but still hanging in there just in case something happens in front of him. He can jump right up in there and snag a position away from one of these two guys. But the other big thing I'm looking at here is back through this field, man, a lot of these pit times were just fuel only, so these guys are not on fresh tires. I think saving the tire total count that you've got in the pits here is going to be one of the big keys.
Man, I don't know about that call. I mean, we'll see as it kind of counts down towards the end, but if you get a long green flag run, you're going to lose time every lap to the guys that took tires.
That's true, but they had that tire, limit count, so I don't think I don't think every time they come down they can take tires. I think they have to kind of save them for that stage break.
That makes it a little bit more interesting, right? You're really going to have to manage when you can go without a set of tires, and I would assume maybe somewhere in the middle of the race so you have those extra sets for the end.
And if you pit 4 times, and I think you might be right. I don't know if the guys can stretch it.
Well, the other thing too is, do you want to try to, even if you had just short of that number, do you try to push it early here? Because the final stage is going to be the longest stage that these guys have. Do you try to save it so you take tires and you're good to go for that final one?
You're looking at some of these pit stops. I mean, it's like some of these guys have already made decisions on their first pit stop whether or not to take tires or not. So there's something to pay attention to as this thing goes on.
As Eric Klafka driving the kind of light blue 88 machine, trying to catch up to Kelly Keel here to maybe make a last second pass as we're on lap 29 out of 100, inching ever closer to that first stage break.
Turquoise, I guess you'd call that.
And here he comes. He's got a big run here on Kelly. He's able to close up that gap with some help from the draft. That's going to actually hurt him a little bit here going into turn number 2, not giving him the downforce that he needs. So he's going to have to back off just a little bit, and he does. He actually gets through that corner really, really nicely as the 3 of Austin Paul is getting passed by that 28 of George Rincon. This is a battle for 13th as they start to kind of come and get ready to come across the line, and there they go, and that is the stage.
Timothy Pope content to just ride behind Jess Vaught for the last few laps here. Content to pick up second place here in the stage.
He's just lurking back there. He'll be fine.
Oh, he's got plenty of race to go. 70 to go across the line back there.
Oh, mama. Well, we've seen a little bit of everything already. We saw a Daytona-style crash at the start. You just seen a little bit of sliding around with typical Pocono stuff.
Wall scrapes.
Yep.
That's some straight-up wall plowing action.
We saw that, too. We've seen the DQ. I think we had one of them with DQ. I think Dustin really probably went over the incident limit if he... I could be wrong, but he exited the truck that quick. I mean, it's hard to hit the buttons that fast.
Yeah, it is. As we get things all checked up behind the pace truck here in just a second. It looks like the 999 of Jeff Snyder might be able to get a let back here.
Sorry.
He's going to need the rally train.
Yeah, if he's going to make his way back up towards the front and be competitive, he's going to need some help.
Yeah, that he is, as everyone finally does catch up to that pace truck. That pace truck, man, he can fly around some of these corners faster than you would think one of those just standard Chevrolets can. It's everybody is getting ready to come in and make their next round of pit stops, and kind of looking back through everything, you know, are we going to expect people to do the same thing here again, try to split this stage in half as the next stage is lap number 60, or do you think they're going to try to push it out just a little bit?
I don't know. You've got me really thinking now. I'm wondering if we'll see some more two-tire action here.
Yeah, I think they're going to need fuel. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So they may push it out a little bit, lap 22, 23 of this stage, but I don't know. Maybe this one was just kind of a test run. We'll probably learn something different on the stage number 2.
And that they are, as we can see everybody making that dive here down into the pit road, and let's see who gets some of the better stops here. As everybody looks like they're sliding into their pit boxes pretty well here. Not too many issues going on, as I think Russ Endicott staying out. He might be saving it to come down with the last available opportunity to come down into the pits. Jessa Vaught wins that race off of pit road, with Russ Kilgore there moving up quite a lot. Man, he only took fuel, or maybe did a 2 tires thing, as he gained quite a few spots up. 13 to restart here in 3rd. Timothy Pope's going to be 4th, with Mike Adamson 5th, Jeremiah Burke 6th, George Rincon in 7th, also with a very quick pit stop time. Looked like it was a 2-tire stop there for George, and everybody else kind of shuffling around.
With Russ only taking 2, or just field only, whichever he took there, he's going to get 8 up, because look at all the 4-tire guys behind him. So many takers getting 4 tires there on the stop. So it'll be an interesting restart for the 7th.
I think he might regret that one.
I mean, if he could survive a couple of laps, you know, I don't know. We'll see here. Restart's going to be critical for him, though. He's got to hit the gas just right where he don't break them loose and go all the way up, you know, get his revs just right, shifting gears. Hopefully he can keep up with him here. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, they're having some conversation on the radio about track position, I think, so they're trying to sort all that out.
Yeah, I don't think some of these guys know that Russ Endicott's up there because he did not pit this round. He pitted back a lap 21.
Which is a very interesting call. I thought he was just saving to maybe take that last opportunity to come into the pits to... I mean, I don't know if these guys can even possibly think about making it. I mean, it's going to be going back to green flag racing here with about, I don't know, lap 34, I think. Nope, it's going to be lap 35 by the looks of it when we go back. So it's going to be about 25-ish laps of racing, and 25 seems a little bit more reasonable than lap 30 being able to make it around.
So how's this work? Because some of these guys are saying, well, I expected to get a wave around because I didn't pit, but Russ Endicott didn't pit, so is he going to trap a couple of guys?
I think that's there was an iRacing issue, I think, is
Okay.
what's going on. I'm trying to decipher everything, but I think
Yeah,
they're trying to
my brain's smoking too here.
wave the people around that should have been on the lead lap to begin with, because iRacing made an iRacing mistake, is what I'm listening to, but could be wrong.
So we look out that back window here of that 257 of Russell Endicott, and he can see all the mad and angry trucks sitting right there behind him. Probably gonna have to try to figure out a way to get around him quickly, as he did not take that pit. And, man, we're gonna see some kind of sketchy action here as people try to get around a slower moving truck. It's just how the math works out. He's gonna be slower going through these turns. I mean, just even getting going, trying to put the power down, you know, he's got to be careful not to spin those tires.
Good to see Chico's bail bonds getting some TV time, though. Of course, their catchphrase right there on the bottom of the logo there, let freedom ring. Chico's bail bonds.
Absolutely, as the lights on that pace truck are off, so we're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing here with Russell Endicott and Jess Vaught up at the front. Russ Kilgore and Timothy Pope right behind them. Russ Kilgore taking either a two-tire or no-tire stop as well, so that's going to be interesting to see. Jeremiah Burke and Mike Adamson right behind that. Josh Bittner and Kelly Keel there as well in 7th and 8th, with George Rincon and Eric Klafka rounded out that top 10 kind of starting restart here as we go through turn number 3, getting ready to take off and go down into pit road. Here is the pace truck, and there it goes. So here we are back to green flag racing here at Pocono, and man, you can just see the speed difference right off the bat. That 33 and the 728 on that outside line are able to get moving here. There goes that 7. He's looking to join that outside line. Russ Kilgore to try to make some moves here. Is man, Russell Endicott is just going to continue to bleed positions here as the 51's looking to go around on the inside of him, as people were just getting done going around the outside. And here we go. Just Vaught out in front with Timothy Pope right on that tail end bumper, trying to figure out how to get around that 33. I got a feeling Timothy Pope here isn't going to sit around for too long to wait and try to figure out his way around him.
So Russ Kilgore did everything right on that restart, and look, he's holding on to 3rd right now with some old tires on that truck. So great job by Russ.
Ooh, almost snags that outside wall right in front of Jeremiah Burke, driving that 753. Jeremiah's also up a lot of spots, up 7, currently sitting in 4th. He does have those fresh tires, and I think where that really is going to come into play is here in turn number 1. As you can see him being able to use every inch of that inside line, and he is able to sneak his way around and into one of those podium positions. Oh no, as we had somebody out there in the wall. I think that was 81 of Jonathan Osborne tagging that outside wall as they exited turn number 1 there.
Careful there, Chachi. Keep it off the wall if you can.
Yeah, there's some movement out here on the track now with the difference in tires on some of these guys. I'm noticing Russ Endicott is really getting past quite a bit back here.
And continuing to kind of lose positions. You can see that wad of trucks that just went around him. You still got the 3 of Austin Paul, 29 of Dave Hot Rod Mayberry as well. Looked like we were trying to maybe even go 3 wide there for a second, but oh no, it's the 29 and Russell Endicott get into each other. Just a disagreement of who had the space going into turn number 1, and that's going to check up the entire field that's behind them here as everybody's scattering all around, but everybody able to continue to drive out of it.
I was going to say they better figure out that 3 wide situation, but Endicott kind of helped him out. Whoa! 202's around. 999 of Snyder involved in that as well. We're staying green so far.
Yeah, I don't think if they don't call it out, they're not going to see it sometime because there's such a big track. And
yes,
Jeff Snyder got involved in that one too. That's a familiar spot there in the tunnel turn, boys.
Yeah, I was hoping you wouldn't really catch on to that.
I predicted something might happen here.
So kind of take a look back and see what happens here. You can see that kind of slower moving Endicott kind of in the middle. No, and oh man, really the thing was I think the 202 of French got side by side with somebody and we had some contact there. I think that was the biggest thing that happened.
He came down, looked like on Douglas Camp.
The 211, yeah.
And then looks like the 999 just got caught up in it.
Oh, yeah, they just absolutely know where to go. Let's slow everything down here and try to jump up into the chopper view and see all that sliding action. Oh, yeah. Just hard enough to really upset that balance of that 202's rear end and get him kicked around. It just looked like both guys were sliding up and down at the same time, fighting for the same spot on the track, and that's the difficult part here in turn number 2 is, man, if you're side by side with somebody, you really have no room.
Almost looked like when me and a teammate one time, he came down on me.
No, that's not how that happened. So I was minding my own business, and then you slammed into me, pushing me into the wall and ruining my entire race.
Oh, okay.
Which I was probably in the top 15 out of 20.
Well, you'd agree to disagree. You know?
But regardless. So, people throw hands over the tunnel turn, just so y'all know.
Yeah, they do.
They don't ever forget either.
51 going to get his lap back here. Lucky dog.
Yeah, that he will, but you know this caution's going to throw some interesting strategy in there. You can see quite a few people: Mike Everidge, Albert Anderson, Russ Kilgore, Jeff Green coming down into the pit lane. Same thing with Dion Jones, John Herzik, Jonathan Osborne, Dave Hot Rod Mayberry, all coming down into pit road as well. But not only that, but I think Jess Vaught, Timothy Pope, and Jeremiah Burke might be looking at their fuel situation here and kind of knowing how many laps that these cautions can save you worth of fuel. They might be able to make it all the way to the final stage here.
Yeah, it looks like
Go ahead.
No, it looks like you just got two different camps. You know, the guys that stay out think they're saving fuel on these long parade laps, and then the guys that just came in and looks like they topped off with fuel to try to finish off this stage. I guess we'll see who wins at the end of this stage.
So Jeff Snyder picked up a black flag. I believe he entered a closed pit. We'll probably get an EOL here unless they clear it. He's arguing his case now. Ricky Wittenberg with a meatball flag. Too much damage to continue right now on the 55s. We'll have to get some of that fixed. We've been sitting there for 17 minutes, it looks like, trying to get that meatball clear. That's what happens, man. We got one fast repair, you know, and you can get involved in multiple accidents. You just gotta sit there and wait for those guys to fix your required repairs so you can get back out there.
Yes, sir.
Starting on the front row here, this is gonna be an interesting restart.
Yes, it will be. Jess Vaught, Timothy Pope side by side. Jeremiah Burke, Mike Adamson going to be side by side as well. Josh Bittner still hanging around inside that top 5. He was able to manage his way to get around Russell Endicott on that last restart here as we look to really try to get things back rolling.
Well, not even halfway through, so these guys have time to figure it out if they've made a couple mistakes. That's a good thing about a race like this. You can always get back in it if you have one fast repair, and if you save it and use it at the right time, it may help you out at the end.
And don't forget, folks, those of y'all watching out there in social media land, we do have a fan of the race to pick tonight, so keep those comments coming, and we'd love to hear from you out there.
Absolutely, as we get ready to go back to green flag racing here, pace truck with the lights off going through turn number 3. This field's all stacked back up and ready to rumble. Here he comes down into the pit lane. Jess Vaught, Timothy Pope side by side as we go back to green flag racing here at Pocono. And man, that was a very clean start for Jess Vaught there on that inside line. You can see him getting a big push from Jeremiah Burke, trying to get him out in front of Timothy Pope here, and he will. So trying to maybe make that inside line work is that 753 of Burke, but I think Timothy Pope's just going to have enough of a drive off here coming out of that turn to hold on to second here. As you can see, Jeremiah Burke tucking back up into line and holding on to that third place. Also had Josh Bittner there. He slid up and into fourth as he got around the 51 of Mike Adamson. Same thing with the 88 of Eric Klafka, who's up 7 spots on the day himself. He's looking very racy here, trying to continue his claw and crawl up into this kind of top group that's we've been seeing go around here.
Yeah, I really like how they come out of 2 and kind of find their own way out of it with there are different lines and stuff you can attack coming into turn 3.
It's very interesting to see, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. It's not like, we're used to these 1, 2, 3, 4 turns. And here with 3, I think everybody's a little confused at times. You get lost on the tracks at points.
Well, my horse is still in this race. Number 84 of Josh Bittner still hanging on in 4th place. Putting in some decent lap times. He's not quite as fast as some of the cats that are racing around in here and racing in front of him. Well, look at that. I was wrong that time. 54.40. He just set his fastest lap of the race right there. I'm glad I could help you out with that, Mr. Bittner.
Yeah, catching that draft here, able to sneak his way around that 753 of Jeremiah Burke. As Mike Adamson sets the overall fastest lap of the race there, 54-35. So Mike Adamson using that draft to his advantage as well to keep up with some of these boys. Looks like Justin French is coming down into the pit lane here. Maybe a little strategy ploy.
Who invented this track? Who came up with this? I mean, it's so much different than any other track on the circuit. It's quite a difference, and you really have to do a lot of practice here to kind of tame this one. It's pretty rough.
You ought to see the road course. You ever drove the road course here? That's insane. They got some Z-shaped zigzag turns in it and stuff. It's something else.
So we got our main group of about 7 drivers, and then about a second and a half after that, we got Austin Paul here in 8th. He's got Chandler Paul, so we got the Paul Bros sticking it out nose to tail here in 8th and 9th.
15 and the 4 got into it. Kind of yelling at each other on the radio. Sorry, Brown. Sorry, Brown.
It's all good as Jeremiah Burke and Dale Adamson coming down into the pits. I think they looked at their fuel situation and decided, you know what, I don't think we're going to make it, so let's just pop down, top off with fuel, and kind of scurry on right back out there.
Yeah, you're not going to make it here. The next stage ends at lap 60, and the pits are going to close, 2-3 laps before that. So, yeah, it might be a good idea to go ahead and, not really short pit, but pit now, and get some fuel and make sure you get to the end. You don't want to commit to it, and then you got a couple laps left to go in the stage, but you can't come down to get fuel because the pits are closed.
As Josh Bittner and Mike Adamson now coming down into the pits.
Yeah, it looks like Green has been disqualified from the race. But I understand his grievance there. I've had somebody hit me in turn 2 very similarly.
Yes.
Very upsetting. And what I tell you about turn 2, it can create a lot of controversy.
And look, they were going at it on the radio. The admins told them, hey, knock it off, keep the comms clear. They kept at it, so one of the parties was removed. That may translate into penalties next week, too, if they're not put on probation or suspension.
I always like double secret probation. That's
maybe
work out the best.
So we see here the 214 of Jeffrey Ottinger led a big old line of trucks through. The latest of that was the 221 of John Ellis, who, man, ever so slowly, he's found his way up into this top 10. He's still side by side with Ottinger right now, but that 221 Home Depot machine, man, he has really been biding his time, making sure he's kept that truck clean, and everything is rolling smooth here for him tonight.
And thank you to Mysterious Simonesas for joining us on YouTube, on Facebook. Pulling for Josh Bittner. And then Andrew Hansley saying, Pocono has a road course? Oh yeah, check it out, man. Load up iRacing after the race here and go check it out. It's fun in an open wheel car. It really is.
First, apologize for butchering whoever's name that was, English.
Yeah, I know.
That was not good.
Yeah, it's hard to read. Well, you read it.
No, I don't have that. Yeah.
As Kelly Keel and Jeffrey Ottinger now making their dive down into pit lane.
I tried to say it like it was spelled. Andrew Hansley said he's always struggled in turn 2. Catches him all the time.
Man, it's one of those turns when you look at it, you think you can just kind of keep your foot in it and, you're able to get on through, but no, you absolutely cannot. You have to lift. But not only that, but you have to lift at the right time, you have to turn at the right time, and then you have to get back on the throttle at the right time. You gotta do 3 things all exactly right, otherwise you're going to start to run into problems.
Perfect for and where to start it, and Yeah, it's and feather that gas coming back into it if you don't have all the grip there anymore, and then as soon as you feel it where it feels solid, hammer down. We got a couple more takers. Looks like the Paul brothers.
Yeah, you got Jess Vaught, Timothy Pope, Eric Klafka, as well as those Paul brothers coming down in. So big lead change here. Russ Kilgore in that 7 machine. He's staying on out. He's one of those guys that pitted during that last caution. So, man, that's going to be pretty close. I think Kilgore can make it here.
Yeah, that risky deal he had earlier paid off. Restarting on older tires, because as soon as the next caution came out, he pitted with everybody else, and he's on the same pit strategy now. So, man, good call by Russ and good recovery on that last restart with those older tires.
Well, and not only that, but he's got John Ellis right there behind him, and George Rincon just behind that, all pitting on lap 38. Oh, here comes that 7. He's coming down, so I think he might have saw that he wasn't going to quite make it. Might have spent a little too much fuel there, as John Ellis is going to take the lead here for the first time tonight. And, you know, this is the first time that we're really seeing, like, an actual strategy come into play. Not just like, if this guy pits, I'll pit. No, this is like, you have to pre-plan this thing all out.
Well thought out, and it's you can see when it works, it works.
Well, you gotta be smarter here. It's not your typical deal all the way around. And you know, you throw in the incident points and the only 5 sets of tires. There's a lot of brain power going in. My brain doesn't work that much. Just driving the thing is hard enough.
Playing chess here, not checkers. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much, yeah.
As Earl Evans is all over that back bumper of the 28, George Rincon. He's got Jonathan Osborne and Deion Jones coming up on him here, just about half a second back. Earl looking to get one of his best finishes here tonight, as everything continues to roll on around. Lap 51 out of 100. Just 9 laps to go here until the next stage break.
Yeah, we're playing chess, not checkers, but looks like the 15 and the 4 were shooting dice in Waco on a Saturday night, and one of them had to leave.
As the 29 of Dave Hot Rod Mayberry had a little battle there with the 257 of Russ Endicott, who's on completely his own strategy here. He last pitted on lap 38, one of those guys that stayed out on those older tires for the restart after the stage. Lost quite a few spots, but he was able to try to hang on to it and make his way back up into this top 10, as Earl Evans and Douglas Camp making the dive down to come into pit road. But John Ellis and George Rincon still staying out. Same thing with Jonathan Osborne. He last pitted on lap 38, along with Deion Jones, Russ Endicott, and Dave Hot Rod Mayberry. So got a whole group, a bunch of different strategies going on here. Same thing with Mike Average and Albert Anderson. They even pitted a lap later than that. Those two are sitting 7th and 8th right now, and they pitted on lap 39, so they're even better than the rest of the guys on fuel.
Yeah, it looked like Earl Evans just barely made it on the pit road. It might have just been an optical illusion there. He might have just been practicing quite a bit, because he had a pretty hot stop there in the pit lane. Now Rob Green has manually disconnected. So both Greens out.
Yeah, that 91 machine was looking pretty beat up. I think he ended up using that first fast repair as he took a tumble dryer move down the front straightaway on the first start we had here tonight. And after that, it's just if you keep on getting beat up, man, and you already used that fast repair, there's only so much some of these pit road mechanics can do.
Yeah, they're not miracle workers.
Well, they can be, but they don't have the time to be. There's just no time to fix it, while the race is still going on.
Not at all, as Hot Rod Mayberry and Russell Endicott still having a battle here for a top 5 spot. Hot Rod just stealing that one away as they went into turn number 3, and he's going to be looking pretty good for a 5th place right now as John Ellis continues to drive away a little bit here from George Rincon. George Rincon might be in safe mode, just trying to make sure he can make it to that end of the stage here in about 6 more laps.
Well, we got a pretty good battle here with Adamson. It looks like Vaught and Bittner just kind of following each other down the track, 9, 10, 11.
And
maybe being smart about it.
Nose to tail, Bittner being out in front of that. Bittner, one of those guys that really enjoys the whole strategy aspect of these races, and right now looking pretty good. He pitted, let me just make sure, he pitted a few laps earlier than both Vaught and Adamson, and that's what got him into the position that he's in right now. Is Jonathan Osborne and Dion Jones in that 4 come on down into pit lane.
Well, they waited till almost the last minute. I believe they closed the pits 2 laps before the end of the stage.
And you can see here, Bittner just trying to break the draft, and he saw the other 2 drivers of Adamson and Vaught try to follow him down, but I think Vaught just realized, I'm just going to stick to my racing line, as he's looking now to the inside of the 51. Oh my goodness, that was tight racing action there. You could not have fit a piece of paper between that quarter panel of the 51 and that front bumper clip of the 33.
We haven't seen that a whole lot with trying to break the draft, but Josh Bittner definitely, he's been reviewing some tape, I think, and that can be quite effective. Trying to lose the guy behind you, but those 2 cats behind him are working together right now.
It's just another piece of strategy right there.
Yep.
That it is, as George Rincon now comes down into the pit lane. So that's going to give Dave Hot Rod Mayberry 2nd place for a little bit here. John Ellis still out in front, continuing to lead. He's got like a 12-second lead over the rest of this field here, as he has not come down into the pits just yet. Russ Endicott is there, as well as Mike Everidge and Albert Anderson. And then you get to the guys that did come down in pit, and they're only about 4.5 seconds behind Albert here. But again, just taking the fuel, no real tire pit stop, as John Ellis comes down into the pits now.
Yeah, wait until the last minute to get that pit stop done before they close the pits here on lap 57.
Yep, Hot Rod Mayberry is going to come down. Same thing with Endicott, and looks like Anderson's going to try to stay out here, as Mike Everidge now takes the lead for the first time here tonight. The 82 driving that kind of brown and black truck around, and with this being 3 laps remaining in pit road, definitely due to close. If it's not closed now, it's going to close at the end of this lap. If you haven't pitted and you're not going to make it, man, you got to figure out a way to get down to pit road right now.
Adamson found his way around Bittner here on the backstretch.
And trying to get his nose out in front before they get to turn number 2, and he does, so he's going to be able to slide his way up into 3rd place here with Bittner and Vaught in tow. So Mike Adamson looking very racy here tonight, up 3 spots on the day, and doing a pretty good job of it. Mike Everidge still out in front. You can see how much that gap has kind of closed in once again with how fast some of these guys are running, and just a differential of speed. But Mike Everidge staying out. Same thing with Albert Anderson. So they are trying to make it all the way till the stage end here in just a couple of laps. Do they have enough fuel? And like I said, they stayed out that 1 extra lap on that last caution before they came down to make sure they had as much fuel as possible in that truck.
They let it kind of add up, you know, and they'll be content to go ahead and stop for gas after the pits open back up once the yellow's thrown. And if you think about it, you know, that extra lap or 2 of fuel will carry over. I mean, they could stay up till it's just about out. And even if it's not, you know, with all the lead lap cars, if they want to stretch it 1 more lap, I guess they could.
Well, here comes Mike Everidge across the line and into turn number 1 again. Still out there, lap 59. I believe it's at the end of this lap that they're going to throw that competition caution out there to end this stage. Albert Anderson behind him, and here comes Mike Adamson, Josh Bittner, and Jess Vaught. They are creeping their way up. It's not that big of a gap anymore. About a second now up into where these guys are at. So even staying out, man, it didn't look like you might be able to hang on. Oh, Albert Anderson going down to the apron. I don't know if he's out of fuel and is coasting. It looks like he is. So, man, that means Mike Everidge, does he have enough to try to make it back across the line and into the pit lane as they exit turn number 3 here? It looks like he just will, saving as much as he can back across the line here and ends the stage. Mike Everidge up 18 spots with the gut call of the day. Able to
start shutting it off now.
able to stay out and pick up this kind of stage win for that 82.
Anderson's on the access road down there. I don't know if he's going to make it.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know if he can. He is just totally out of gas.
He is trying. He is coasting. He's at least made it into the pit lane, but traveling at 20 miles an hour. He's not speeding this time, boys, I can tell you that.
Right, not getting a ticket this time. Just keep that clutch eased in and hope for a tailwind.
All right, just want to get out there and push the thing to help him out. How slow he's going.
And he's now officially made it across the line. Let's see, does he have enough to get to his pit stall? It looks like he will, because he's got one of those kind of end pit stalls. Really, I don't think he qualified, so able to be there in the back. And yes, he does. Safe and sound is that number 2 of Albert Anderson.
Wow.
Amazing.
But even more impressively here is that 82 of Mike Everidge. Not only did he stay out, but he still got just enough to catch up to this pace car before they have to come down into the pit lane. And because, I mean, if you look at the people behind him, you got some friendly people here, but I don't know of anybody who's willing to push you back around to get you into the pits. They're going to say, hey, well, man, that was your mistake. You got a tow.
And I've done that before. I've been pushed into the pits, and then once you get into the boxes, you know, you become kind of invisible, and nobody can push you. So what you got to do is you have to hit the box perfect, because there's no do-overs. You can't back up. You can't pull forward a little bit if you're too far back, you know, et cetera, because the engine's dead, and there's no way to get out and push the damn thing. So Anderson did a pretty good job of hitting it the first time, because that's all you got. You got one chance to get it right, and he got it.
Well, and he got an EOL. Do you get an EOL for running out of fuel?
Well, the problem was the pit lane wasn't open when he came down. It was still closed. He would have still had to coast all the way around until, like, right now when the pit lane opens back up. So that's what that
that makes sense. I got you.
EOL
I was kind of
is
wondering
for.
that too.
That's why we have the brains of the operation letting us know.
But either way, he's at least going to be, I believe, on that lead lap either case. So everything is looking okay for him as everybody coming down into the pit lane for this stage breaks kind of pit access here. Let's see, our biggest movers and losers here is Russell Endicott once again staying out.
Well, he's on his own little strategy.
Over on YouTube, the real Pootie, looking to join this series after the season's finished. He's probably on the waiting list. These guys do have a
man, we were 5 wide exiting pit lane here. However, Mike Everidge was able to beat everybody off of pit road, followed by Vaught, Adamson, Rincon, Burke, Bittner, Pope, Klefka, Dale Adamson, John Ellis, Kelly Keel, and Jeffrey Ottinger.
Well, he must be wanting to join the league to make some money. Every race, these guys make money. Also, the super fan of the race makes money, right? So, y'all, we need to hear from y'all, see what's going on out there. You can Maybe make a little extra cash for being a super fan of the race.
Russ Endicott's going to hold on to this lead. You know, he pitted, 6 laps ago and pitted a little bit early. So he's going to take advantage and lead a few laps out here of the 257 machine of Russ Endicott. Up 20 spots right now. So far, biggest mover of the race. Well, in a positive direction.
Yes, he does. It looks like Albert Anderson gonna come on down into the pit, so he will go a lap down and maybe try to top up on that fuel, do a little last late pit stop action here. But Mike Everidge, with those fresh tires, he's gonna look mighty strong on that outside. I think we're gonna see one of those things happen here again. We're gonna see that outside line come flying through when we go back to green flag racing here. Which means that 33 of Jess Vaught is not where he wants to be.
He's serving a penalty in the pits. I don't know if he got a speeding ticket or on the way out or something.
I was going to say it wasn't on the way in, that's for sure.
No, it wasn't on the way in. He's been sitting in the pit for a while, so Anderson gonna stay a lap down here, it looks like. They attempted to clear his flag. I don't know what it was for. They attempted to clear his flag, but it held him anyway because he already started service.
Oh, okay. Yep.
It doesn't just stop the clock, you know, after you clear the flag.
Right. Yeah, no, it's
It looks like
one of those iRacing things.
Extend the caution lap here.
Okay, so we're going to be 1 to green the next time we come down and cross the line. Let's take a look here through this field. Who do we want to pull up here tonight, if you guys wouldn't help me? Do you want to... let's see. Do we want to... Let's talk to the stage winner, Mike Everidge there in that 82, if you don't mind pulling him up.
All right. Got him, English?
He's far down the list. I can't drag him that far. Hang on a second. Invite.
I can try.
Move to... I've got it.
Okay.
Here we go.
There he is, the 82 of Mike Everidge. He's winner of stage number 2 here, Mike. And man, that was a bold strategy, Cotton, pitting at the very last moment on that last caution and able to hang out there, man. How much fuel did you have left to make it all the way back around there?
I did it with 4/10 of a gallon left.
Ooh. That's cutting it close. What's the feel out there on the track right now? Is it getting racy, or are y'all just starting to get it together and gonna race this thing out?
Yeah, it's going to get racy now. Everybody's strategy now is played out, so it's time to go.
Well, good luck the rest of the way. We'll put you back down in your chat.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Yahtzee, just like that, we're getting ready to restart.
Yes,
yeah.
we are. But you also heard it there from Mike Everidge. He's cutting it a little close there on that fuel.
Oh yeah, on fumes pretty much.
Yeah, thankfully this track isn't banked. Otherwise, I'm sure that thing would have really cut out on him. You know, when the fuel sloshes to a side and.
Yeah, when there's nothing left in there, yeah.
Yep.
Good point.
As the pace truck makes this around into turn number 3. We got Russell Endicott and Mike Everidge up front, side by side, getting ready to go back to this green flag racing action here as the pace car gets ready to dive down into pit lane. There he goes. So final stage here of the night, all the way to lap 100. Side by side we go back to green flag racing. Much better restart there for that 257 Russell Endicott. I think he was able to time that run just right, as he's not losing that much speed here going into turn number 1. Mike Everidge on that outside line with those fresher tires, though, is going to be able to really push it hard and get out in front. Oh, as Jess Vaught trying to push. Oh, we got a big pile up behind everybody. Jeffrey Ottinger spinning like a top in the middle of the track. That sent, oh no, Josh Bittner getting involved in that one as well. A whole bunch of people had to check up, and that was a rough one. Looked like Albert Anderson getting involved in that one as well.
I'm gonna pinpoint where this one happened here. Go look at the 214 of Ottinger.
Oh, we were going to like just about 4 wide as we were exiting turn number 1 here. It looked like a big checkup on that bottom line. Let's go to the chopper cam so we can get a wide angle view of this and slow it down. Oh, the 221 of Ellis got loose. The 214 was trying to come up, but the 81 and the 01 was right above him, caught that quarter panel, and bam! The 01 into the wall with the 214. Now he's going to be spinning like a top. Looks like the 211 gets rear-ended there, who goes down into Bittner, and that blocks the lower part of the track. Oh, the 88 gets hit as well. Same thing with the 753. Oh my goodness, that's absolute carnage there on that backstretch.
Ooh, it looks like we lost Douglas Camp as well. That's disconnected.
A bunch of meatball flags. A ton of them here on the entry screen there.
That's the problem.
Keel, Snyder, Burke, Evans, Bittner, Ricky Wittenberg, Doug Camp. As you mentioned, the Texas native. I think he is out for the night. Did he hit the incident limit?
I'm not quite sure. He may have, but it says manually disconnected. I can't
Either
trust
way,
my
he gone.
race. He is gone.
And that, for a lot of these guys, is not how you wanted to start this stage, as using up that fast repair. And it's just one of those things, you know, people making split-second decisions trying to get around. And, I mean, really, no one was at fault there. Just someone getting a little loose and people trying to avoid it and getting into other people. And that's how that kind of incident happens. And as you saw, just that almost the entirety of the track was blocked and people had nowhere to go. And turn 1's a very fast turn here. Don't let how much these guys actually slow down to make that turn fool you, because they're full on the throttle to try to get as much of a run onto that long backstretch as they can. And that's, I think, why we're seeing so many meatballs. Is a lot of those impacts were just straight dead head-on impacts. And these trucks, man, as strong and sturdy as the real-life variants might be when it comes to the race mode of these things, yeah, they're just a little nick like that, and boom, you can have some serious engine problems.
McGowan, who was cheering for Bittner, says, "Oh no." And P Perfect 33 saying old tires up front kills the field again. Hello Kitty truck got T-boned. 221. Let's see here real quick.
You're driving.
Didn't have old tires. He had same tires as most of the field.
Well,
there.
cold or old. I mean, it's you pick
Yeah,
them.
that's right. Cold or old.
So, you like you said, Brown, you're at least, I was watching her in the race, 185 miles an hour going into that turn 1, just hot. I mean, they very late lifting on that turn, so you're really cruising through turn 1. So a mistake, you know, like driving through Waco and some guy's texting on his phone and just doors you. It's kind of what happens here.
Well, I don't think these guys are texting on their phones.
No, I'm
sure.
just saying that when Waco, you got one hand on the wheel and you either have your other hand on the pistol or it's on the phone. That's when you're driving through Waco.
Or Caldwell.
Yeah, one of the three.
A big O.
You've been there,
take
yeah.
a big O to go?
Yeah. Oh, you can give
O?
them big glasses to go. Hell yeah.
Deanna Jones picked up a black flag there for what I don't know. Did he speed coming out, maybe? or going into the pits. He's just pitted. I bet he's sped coming into the pits. Let's see here in just a second.
Had some issues tonight. Some
Either
things
that or the
have
pits
happened.
were already closed, or no,
Yeah.
the pits shouldn't be closed. We're not.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
we're one to green now.
Are we? Oh, maybe he entered right as it closed. We'll see here. Either
Yeah,
way, it's
it'll
going
be
to be
all
an EOL. Either way, you hack it, I think. Well, no, it's a timed penalty, it looks like. Sitting there, he's there for 40 seconds already.
As we get ready to go back to green flag racing here, Mike Everidge is going to be on the low line. Mike Adamson is going to be on that high line. Russell Endicott is still up there as well with Jess Vaught and Timothy Pope all in that top 5. George Rincon in that 28 is looking pretty well here and up 19 spots on the day, starting here in 6th. John Ellis in that 221, thankfully, because I don't want to say he was the cause of that, but was right out in front of the caution and able to squeeze on by. So maybe his strategy is playing out a little bit here tonight. But we're going to have 31 laps remaining here as we go back to green flag racing on laps 69 of 100. Here they go, down across the line. Oh, there we go. That's the restart that everyone was worried about there for the 257, checking up that entire inside line. We're going to be 3 wide here as we go down into turn number 1. Man, that 257 just really struggling to get going on those old tires. He's checking everybody up. The 728 of Pope on that outside, able to get around, but that really hurt Jonathan Osborne's run through turn number 1 as everybody kind of wiggles and manages to find their way around. As Mike Adamson being pushed by Jess Vaught here is able to get out in front. Man, look at that 221 of John Ellis already jumping up a few spots because of that. That outside line had some free movement to it, and everybody who was out there was able to snag quite a few easy peasy spots there.
And they're really getting after it up here in the top 6 trucks. Tim Pope and George Rincon are going after it right now.
And
Yeah, they are right behind them. You've got Osborne, who was stuck behind the 257. 254, Dale Adamson able to make it around. And here comes Josh Bittner trying to find his way around Endicott.
looks like he will get that done here. Turn number 1. As, man, that fight between Rincon and Pope, that's a battle you normally don't see. You know, we've seen, Ellis and Bittner and Vaught, go toe-to-toe with Pope here, but haven't really seen Rincon have a battle with Pope. And as of right now, Rincon, he got the best of them there.
Yeah, he did. That Goodweiser Chevrolet, he's out there making it happen tonight. Let's see. Going back over to the YouTube, Earl Evans said, yeah, the Hello Kitty truck's done. 32 minutes of the repairs. Might be able to sneak in a couple laps here at the end, but kind of doubtful maybe here. And he did verify the pit was closed for Dion Jones in the 4 as he came down. And he's just asking how we're doing tonight. Didn't get a chance to message us earlier because he was busy.
A little busy
He said,
trying to.
He said, go Osborne, win it for Hello Kitty.
Busy trying to get a handle of this track like everybody else. This thing is, I mean, I don't know what you called it, Brown, but tough to tame or whatever. But it's harder than hell to drive.
Well, it's the tricky triangle for a reason. Oh man, slide job up here at the front. John Ellis able to squeeze his nose around the 33 of Jess Vaught. John really looking to make this 3 in a row. He's trying as hard as he can, fighting all the way through this field. Oh, Timothy Pope.
Tim Pope is, wow. Just to see what happened there.
Dale Adamson also dog walking. That truck's got some serious suspension damage.
We got some help there by the 254, it looks like. A little bump draft in the corner, a little too much. Did it take out the 84 of Bittner as well?
Let's take a look-see and watch as they go through turn number 3. Oh, just a smidge of a bump there from that 254. Got that 728 of Pope loose, who did get down into Bittner, but it looked like Bittner was able to save it. And let's see, did anything happen here with what happened to the 254 Dale Adamson.
Oh, he's hurt.
Oh, he's definitely hurting. He went into that wall at a very awkward angle, which is why he's dog walking so much. Let's see. Looks like, yeah, Josh Bittner was able to kind of escape the fate there as everybody trying to all dodge and get around. Let's go back and see this one from somebody who was right behind everybody here. Let's take a ride. I think this happened in front of Austin Paul.
You can do the tailgate cam off the 81 too. Ought to be pretty good.
You know what? That's probably a good call. Let's do that. We'll go to the tailgate cam and watch this one. Going down into turn number 3. There's the hit. Oh, yeah. Bittner mowing the lawn a little bit, but able to keep it straight. And thankfully, there was really just a way to get around everybody. And oh, man, that was tough. Tough hit.
81 did make it through there, so that'll make Ashley happy. She's pulling for Chachi on there, saying 81 all the way. And talking about the tires earlier, we talked about cold and old tires on restarts. And we did see that again this time, but P Perfect 33 says cold and old. Sounds like my last girlfriend.
Well, I've been there. I don't even know where to go with that one.
Well, let me save you. Dustin really also says, sorry, Evans, for the first start. Checked up. Didn't get moved quick enough. You know, leave triangles for the pool table, I say.
Yeah.
Peyton McGowan says, I think this track just proves that geometry is hard.
Yeah. It's not making sense to me. Every time I look at the layout of it, it doesn't compute. Man, I'm telling you, it's tough. And turn 2, one of your friends will just destroy you there. I mean, it's a proven fact. Everybody knows that.
Yes,
But it seems like everything's tough.
Yeah, but we're also seeing a big split decision here. Some people staying out, some people coming into the pits here. Man, this is a very interesting situation going on. We're in that final 30, almost going to be 25 laps here, and I think once we go back to green flag racing, and it's going to be interesting strategy-wise, as this really has thrown a wrench kind of into the window. It's not going out the window; it's coming back into it.
What to say? That's going to be a hefty wrench. Yeah, that's just something, and that's something we don't know about. We're not connected really with these guys as far as communication in their particular chats, so we don't really know what their mindset is here. We're just kind of doing our educated guesses. We've done a few races, called a few races. I'd say we have a pretty good idea of stuff, but this track here is just it's even tough for us to figure out what's happening.
That it is.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, as kind of looking through this field, Albert Anderson, who went a lap down with all the penalties and whatnot, he's back on the lead lap, and he's going to be restarting here in 5th, up 18 spots on the day. So Albert Anderson, America's driver, looking mighty strong here tonight. Deion Jones fighting his way back as well after that penalty. He's going to be restarting here in 6th. Nope, as he's coming down into the pit lane again.
Yeah, Chad McCabe over on Facebook saying, is there a way to watch battles for position in the rest of the pack besides the top 5 lead cars all the time? I'm not sure which broadcast he's watching, but I think we've done quite a bit of going through the field here. He must have a specific truck he's looking for that he's not seeing.
Put in your requests. I mean, it's request night here at Pocono.
What do you guys think about this next restart? I mean, pit strategy stuff here. We've got 5 laps or so separating a few of these guys. We got 10 laps separating a few of these guys. It's going to be another case of some guys trying to stay out of the way, I think.
It's gonna be interesting. I mean, You got Mike Adamson and John Ellis last pitted on lap 61. Jeffrey Ottinger on lap 66. Albert Anderson 67. Russell Endicott on 56. So Russ still hasn't come down into pit lane. And then you got just about everybody else coming down here, lap 73, 71. So you got a big split of drivers here tonight on strategy. With big kind of out of the park kind of guesses going on.
Well, I think a couple of them are just betting on another caution here soon. 25 laps to go. They're not going to make it on fuel anyway, probably.
Well, the guys that just came down in pit,
They may.
They may. We saw it earlier on how it worked there with Mike Everidge, but it's only going to be a time to tell us. Here we go back to green flag racing here, side by side. 25 laps remain. People scattering around back there. Man, that looked like that was around where Kelly Keel is and Dale Adamson as they're trying to figure their way around some of these guys. As side by side goes Mike Adamson and John Ellis. John Ellis on that outside here, still 2 wide. It's going to be 3 wide behind him here with Russell Endicott.
Everidge is drifting. And a wrecking. Everidge was drifting hard. Got into the 3 of Austin Paul. Both of those trucks with damage, but it looks like most everybody else made it through.
Yeah, Mike Everidge.
Staying green.
Yep, staying green here as he was really the only one that got the bad beat out of that one. So everybody continues to roll on through here. Mike Adamson was able to get his nose out in front of John Ellis and keep that position. So we are nose to tail up here in that top 5 as we got Ellis, Ottinger, Anderson, Klafka all behind Mike Adamson there. And then you got Jess Vaught here in 6th as he's continuing to try to claw his way back up through. He just recently pitted. He got 4 new fresh tires and everything as everything is going on around him. You got Jeffrey Ottinger and Albert Anderson side by side. Ooh, almost tagging the wall is that 214 of Ottinger, but able to just keep it off of it as we're starting to see a little bit of that break go on right where that 257 of Russell Endicott is. He's got Dave Hot Rod Mayberry right behind him, and then following that is the 72 of Chandler Paul. And this is a battle for the top 10. Timothy Pope there as well. He's trying to find his way around. Oh, there goes Hot Rod looking to the inside, trying to get around that 257. You're going to see a whole line of trucks try to follow through him.
Well, look behind Hot Rod Mayberry. It's the 728 of Timothy Pope. He's driving it like he stole it. He was making a bunch of moves till Hot Rod got in front of him there.
If there's somebody that can come back from being that far down late, it's the 728 of Timothy Pope.
Yeah, and Chandler Paul in his 72 was trying to follow his line. It's going to be a tough one to follow. He's that good.
Yes, he is, as Jeremiah Burke is now throwing his name back into the hat here. As behind him, you got, almost some contact there between one of the Adamsons, the Dale Adamson and the 257, as everyone's trying to make their way back around. Josh Bittner as well. He's trying to claw his way back up to get to this main front group once again. But we got that 28 of George Rincon now all over the back bumper of the 7 of Russ Kilgore. This is a battle for 7th, trying to squeak his way up here through the inside line and try to catch back on up.
Anderson and Vaught were fighting pretty hard for about a lap there, but since then have gone single file as Mike Adamson about 0.3 of a second ahead of Ellis. Hold on, it's leading.
Now you say it, Vaught is trying to go inside of the number 2 of Albert Anderson. Looks like he does in turn 2.
That he does. So just fought back up into 4th here with Albert Anderson in 5th. You got George Rincon there in that 28 trying to hunt down the 88 of Eric Klafka, who we saw get involved in one of those cautions. He's now back up there in 6th, up 7 spots on the day from where he started. So that 88 is looking pretty strong here tonight.
Telling you, man, Klafka's one of those guys. He can just sneak on up in there. Very consistent racer. Shows up every week. Has pretty strong finishes now and then, and I'm talking, up there in the top 5, top 10 consistently. I mean, and these guys field 30 plus cars every week, so to get as many top 10s, top 15s as he's gotten, that's really an accomplishment in and of itself.
As Timothy Pope just made his way around Russell Kilgore to get into 9th, as Dave Hot Rod Mayberry feeling some pressure here from that 753, and now it's going to be Dale Adamson here coming in that 254, feeling some pressure there from him, and Dale is even a lap down.
Heard an engine blow, didn't know where it was. May have been down on pit road.
That was Jess Vaught making his move on Jeffrey Ottinger here, going through turn number 1. It looks like able to squeeze on through. He's going to be trying to use that draft as much as possible. Not able to quite get that spot the last time. He's going to try to maybe make a dive here after turn number 2 and 3.
John Herdzik did fall prey to the incident limit. John Herdzik disqualified from the race. 13X sounds like a lot, but shoot, you get 3 run-ins with the truck, you're most of the way there.
Yeah, and
Then a wall scrape later, you're gone.
Like that Green in the 91, I think he probably almost got 10X on his first incident with the flip job.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about having a rough night. Look at that 07 of Jack to Ripper Dixon, man. He doesn't have much paint left on that truck. He's been scraping against just about everything here. He's a couple laps down in 20 seconds. Still running, though, is that our friendly Canadian.
Yeah, he's off pace some, too, by about a second. We'll see if he can stay out of some folks' way if the leaders will inevitably catch him.
Yeah, just a rough night there for that 07 as Albert Anderson comes down into the pits. Definitely using his own strategy out here as Mike Adamson and John Ellis are still nose to tail up here for the lead. They're starting to put a little bit of space here on Jess Vaught, who just made it back here into 3rd, able to get around both Ottinger and now George Rincon able to get around Ottinger as well. As look at that group right behind him. Eric Klafka, Jonathan Osborne, Timothy Pope, even Russ Kilgore is trying to creep his way back up in there as well.
Tell you what, 28 of Rincon and the 214 of Ottinger really fighting there. Ottinger knew he was beat there and lifted. Not enough for Klafka to get a bumper in just yet. Looks like now he'll get there. Pope is really eyeballing that inside line, looking for a place to get around.
Really just absolutely trying to get some luck to happen here for him. And everything is continuing to drive on and through with 17 laps now remaining. You can see the side-by-side action here between Klafka and that 81. And Klafka, if you're too wide there going into 1, that bottom side is not where you want to be. You get almost no drive off going onto this long back straight, and that's going to allow Tim Pope here to try to get around him.
Yeah, when you come out of the turn there, if you're on the outside, you have all the momentum. There's nothing you can do on that inside besides try to slide up and hit the guy. There's really nothing else you can do.
As teammates, the Pauls and Josh Bittner all coming down into pit lane here, all coming, driving off now as here comes Mike Adamson and looks like Jess Vaught coming down as well. So everybody making their last pit stops here, and you know it's time for that money pit stop. And let's see how good people can get in and off of pit road as John Ellis staying out with the lead here. The 81 of Jonathan Osborne trying to stick as close to that bumper of the 728 of Pope as possible.
Here's where you throw on that last set of tires that you've been saving by taking no tires or 2 tires earlier. you're going to throw that last set on right now, this is the money stop. This is for all the marbles. You got to throw those extra tires on and get it.
Yeah, and they're communicating well. Everybody's coming down. Sounds like this is going to be our final pit cycle. Unless we have some kind of mayhem at the end.
As here comes John Ellis down into pit road, giving the lead to George Rincon, and Jeremiah Burke staying out there, so he's going to be here in second. Dave Hot Rod Mayberry as well staying out here. Only a handful more people that need to come down here. The four of Dion Jones being one of them out there running kind of all by himself right now. Currently in 8th. Will still need to make one more of those pit stops. But right now he's going to claw his way up and into 4th until then. But yeah, Mike Adamson and really nobody behind him right now. He's got like a 6-second gap as he ends up in 5th place for right now. But Jess Vaught, he's got Jeffrey Ottinger right behind him as they're trying to get all the laps and everything cycled back through here. Looks like Timothy Pope is having himself a little bit of a battle with John Ellis. Looks like he is able to get around him.
Yeah, it's all cycling its way through. Some of these guys have been in the front, are now in the back, and the guys in the back are now in the front. See how long that stays that way.
Got a little flip in the action there.
Well, it's been happening all night. I mean, these guys guys in the back go to the front, you know, during some of these green flag pits, and then just cycles its way back around.
Oh no, as Mike Adamson coming back down into the pits. I wonder if they might have snagged him for speeding during the last round, as Jeffrey Ottinger.
He does have a black flag, yep.
Jeffrey Ottinger runs the fastest lap of the race in that 2:14, running a 54:26. So the Ott machine running very strong here tonight.
Great lap by the 2:14.
Yeah, he really needs it if he wants to catch up with Jess Vaught and to where John Ellis and Timothy Pope are right in front of him. He can just see him right outside of that window. But does he want to burn all those tires up here? As here comes John Ellis looking to make a move on that 728, and he does. Kind of slides it right on through here in turn number 3. Does he have enough to make it stick? Yes, he does. So John Ellis back out in front of Timothy Pope, still waiting on George Rincon, Jeremiah Burke, Dave Hot Rod Mayberry, and Dion Jones to make their last second kind of pit stops here. Man, they last pitted on laps 73 and 74, and that is just a little bit too much saving to ask, I think, for some of these guys. So here comes George, as Jeremiah Burke will take the lead. Same thing with Dave Hot Rod Mayberry coming on down now, as this field's starting to catch up to some of this lap traffic until all this cycling is complete.
Like Dion Jones is going to wait another lap with Burke here and pit with him, maybe. Let's see what he decides to do. He's in now.
Yep, so Jeremiah Burke is the final holdout here, waiting to come down into the pits. Well, when I say final holdout, Dale Adamson in that 254, last pitted on lap 61. He's still driving around out there. I'm expecting him to come down any second now. In fact, I'm sure he probably already came down and pit. Just that pit number didn't change over for him.
Transponder issue or whatever.
So
whatever you want to call it.
Jeremiah Burke leading some laps here as we got 12 laps remain. Look at the main pack here because Jeremiah's all out there by himself. You got Timothy Pope right behind Ellis. Jesvot right there as well. Jeffrey Ottinger just trying to claw and hang on and catch back up to these guys, but man, maybe pushing that hard might have burnt those tires up just a little bit too much. You also got Eric Klafke in the 28 of George Rincon having a little bit of a battle here. This is for 6th and 7th as of right now.
We're up 19 spots. Goodweiser has a good running truck out there tonight. He put in some practice, I guarantee.
He did, as we were side by side here. Ellis and Pope just a little bit, but Ellis able to get that spot back as Jeremiah Burke still has not come down into the pits, staying out there. He's got a little bit of drafting help now. He's got some people around him, but still, I don't think he's going to have enough to make it, but who knows? He's got Mike Adamson, a teammate, right behind him after serving that penalty. That would be Mike Adamson. Unfortunately, now a lap down. Actually, might even be a couple laps down here. As we,
George Rincon, a couple of turns ago, got a little bit loose, lost just enough momentum for the 88 of Klafka to take advantage and make the pass. But George ain't giving up. The 28 machine looking to maybe... it ain't going to happen this lap, buddy.
No,
88 just had carried too much speed.
There's stuff going on out on the track. What's going on out there in the YouTube lands and the Facebook lands? We got any more commentary? Anybody want to be the fan of the race tonight? Win something?
I think we've got one.
Oh.
But
Good.
you'll have to stay tuned here next few laps so I can verify. Yeah, we want to thank everybody for joining us over on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. Angry Indian over there on Twitch. Always looking for the fights. I bet y'all get along really well. Angry Indian 89 over on the Twitch.
Everybody likes a good fight now and then.
Yes.
And he does. Let's
And
see.
we did have some.
88 of Klafka is really trying to get around the 82 of Mike Everidge here. Everidge getting kind of caught up in one of those last cautions there. From going from winning the stage to back down to 17th and a lap down, man, it is a hard one there for that 82. But with 9 laps now remain, Jeremiah Burke comes down into the pits. It's going to be a race to see who gets there back around first. Is it going to be the 221 of Ellis, or is it going to be Jeremiah Burke coming back out? I think by the looks of it, it's going to be Ellis taking that lead back over here as the 728 of Pope and the 33 of Jess Vaught are side by side there as they cross the line here. A battle for second and third.
Eric Welch, our numb thumbs buddy, out there on Facebook saying, "What's up, guys?" A great race tonight. A lot of strategy involved in this thing.
That it is, as the 28 of Rincon and the 81 of Osborne get around that 88 of Klafka. So we've got some action going on here. Here comes Rincon trying to make his way back around Everidge, and it looks like maybe the 81 of Osborne is going to try to do the same as they're going through turn number 2 here. That's one of those turns that you can do that. If someone goes low and pushes that guy to the outside wall, as we're 3 wide here.
Ooh. Glad they sorted that out. Everidge looks like he may have backed out just a little bit, or he just wasn't carrying enough speed right there on the outside. Turn 3's tricky, man. I tell you what, that is my favorite turn here. It's the most satisfying turn when you can get around that flat sucker and get that car started on the inside line and let it drift all the way out to the wall, and you just carry as much speed as you can. It's very satisfying when you really get it right.
Man,
Love turn 3 here.
you are not kidding, as they finally get things figured out back around that 82. You got George Rincon in 5th, Jonathan Osborne right on his tails in 6th, and Eric Klafka in 7th. Jeremiah Burke has rejoined the racetrack, and he is currently in 8th, but he's got the 7 of Russ Kilgore hot on his heels here as John Ellis makes a little bit of a mistake, and that's going to let that 33 of Jess Vaught close that gap just a little bit here again, with 6 laps now remain back across the line. Vaught in front of Pope, but Ellis in front of everybody.
And don't forget, folks, check out the race sponsors for this series. D&D Race Graphix over on Facebook. You can also find Ricky Wittenberg on Trading Paints. He paints a lot of trucks out here, on this field. Look at Team Omega. I mean, he just does amazing work. So if you need a truck painted, definitely hit him up, send him a message. And also Keller Williams of Johnson City, Tennessee. He can help you find or sell a house anywhere in the United States. Just give him a call, and he can get you hooked up with a realtor in your area. And it looks like the 81 got into the 28 and the 28 of Rincon in the outside wall there.
Very good.
Oh, people are dodging him now.
He is kind of slow on the pace here, as it looked like Jeremiah Burke and Dale Adamson were side by side, able to squeeze right around him. But George Rincon still hanging out there.
It almost looked like the 28 came down on the 81. Tough turn there, the tunnel turn 2. Hard to manage. Good thing they kept that thing together.
Yeah, that it was, as we now have 5 laps remaining here. Let's go check in on Kelly Keel, who was looking pretty good at the start. Just a few kind of cautions didn't go his way. He's back there in 19th, a lap down. Still trying to fight, though, is that 01 of Kelly. You got Albert Anderson trying to claw his way back up. He lost a few positions during that last round of pit stops and the long pit time, so he might have gotten tagged for speeding as well at one point. Man, that 2 truck, he's got to figure out something to slow that truck down here. As man, look at this race up here for the lead. Timothy Pope sneaks his way around, slide job right in front of that 33 of Vaught, all in front of that 221 of Ellis, who tries to break the draft as they go down that long back straightaway here. And it looks like really Pope, surprisingly, not really following him. He's just going to kind of stick to his line out there next to that outside wall. But that's the other thing to watch here, especially as these laps tick away. It just gets tougher and tougher to make passes as these tires die off.
Well, these guys all pitted around the same lap. However, it's going to come down to who saved their right front the best and who's going to be able to really put the pedal to the metal and test the grip on these tires in turn 3 on the last lap.
Yeah, and the top 3 have just kind of pulled away from Jeffrey Ottinger. Ottinger's having a heck of a race. He just can't keep up with those guys in front of him.
Yeah, Ottinger finally getting a really good result here. He's been one of those guys that, man, talk about getting involved in cautions all season long and just really having the worst of luck. But here tonight so far, looking mighty good, but he still has 3 laps to, try to maintain everything. But he's also got people starting to hunt him down. You got the 88 of Klafka, Osborne in that 81, Jeremiah Burke in that 753 as well, trying to hunt him down. As here comes the 254, Dale Adamson. He's trying to get, a lap back on some of these guys, and who knows if we see a late caution. I think Dale is one of the guys that's going to be in maybe getting that lucky dog. So he's trying to fight for every position that he can as we now go 2 laps to the checkered flat.
Real Pooty on YouTube, look up Vigilante Racing League in your directory. That's where you'll find the league.
Yeah, Jeffrey Ottinger's just trying to hold him off. I think he's got some damage, so we'll see if he can hold off Klafka, Burke, and Osborne here.
What's helping him out here is that little bit of a battle that they had with that 254, as much as he is a little bit quicker than these guys. As you can see here, the 753 of Jeremiah Burke trying to pass 2 people at once, side by side, going into turn number 3. Looks like he will get around Klafka here as the white flag waves. John Ellis takes the white flag, so no more cautions here tonight. Let's see how hard Timothy Pope, who's right behind him, tries to dive it on in on him. Yeah, is not going to get a chance here in turn number 1. Gets a good solid entrance, though. Trying to close that gap as much as he can. Riding out to that outside wall as much as he can. Using all the inches and millimeters to spare. Going down and into turn number 2. The trickiest of the turns here. Able to try to close up that gap even more. Going almost again, using every possible inch before hitting that wall, but still isn't quite enough. John Ellis still hanging out in front here, going through turn number 3 with a just under half-second lead. It looks like Pope might have burnt everything up, because here comes Ellis 3 in a row. Home Depot brings it home again. John Ellis followed by Timothy Pope, Jess Vaught. Great effort by those guys. Same thing with Jeffrey Ottinger, able to hold off Jeremiah Burke, Eric Klafka, and Jonathan Osborne.
There's a new sheriff in town. His name is John Ellis, and he drives the 221 Home Depot machine. Hardest charger of the race as well, up 21 spots tonight. Great job, John. Beautiful race.
Yeah, really impressive by John Ellis. All the stuff we had happen during the race, just to stick through all that and come up 21 spots, that's pretty amazing.
Man, you are not kidding us. Let me get set up here. All right.
Andrew Hansley on Facebook is your fan of the race. So thanks for watching and commenting. As always, Andrew, we sure do appreciate you. You are our super fan of the race tonight. Andrew Hansley.
Speaking of some super fans, let's talk about a super driver, the random driver of the day. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. That is the 8th place finisher of Russ Kilgore. Congratulations, Russ. You are the random draw driver of the day.
We'll get to talk to him up here. Driver of the Rod Baker Ford F-150.
Watch here as John Ellis does some burnouts here in front of these Pennsylvania fans. But man, talk about heartbreak there for Josh Bittner in that 84. Not even in the top 10 here tonight. Just a rough night for that 84 machine, especially late with those cautions.
Because I picked him, man. I guarantee you that had something to do. The curse of the broadcaster thing is real. Yeah, I wish it wasn't, but I know Bittner was looking forward to this. You know, it's one of his tracks. Probably his favorite track, I believe.
Yes, it is.
We'll hear about it on Vigilante Report next week.
Oh, I'm sure. As we start these interviews off, let's start with our 3rd place finisher here tonight, and that's going to be the 33 of Jess Vaught, having a very solid race up at the front just about all race long. Jess, it looked like this thing came down to some strategy for most of this, but at the end of the day, it was still a 3-truck fight, and man, it was a fight nonetheless.
Yeah, it was came down to strategy towards the end. I kind of figured it would. This place generally seems to do that. Which I enjoy, except when I get snookered. Like I wasn't the one with the best strategy today, obviously coming in 3rd. And pretty much anything but winning in this league, you're in the hurt locker as far as kind of trying to compete for the championship.
Well, and as the guy that runs this league and is in charge of all the admin stuff, let me just say, you guys do a heck of a job. We saw the awesome way the stages were set up today. I think that really did invite a lot of the cool calls and stuff on strategy that we really haven't seen. Is that something that's going to continue throughout the rest of the season?
So we don't have it set up for this season. Actually, this race was a test bed. We said, hey, we're going to do it here at Pocono because,
okay, cool.
Sometimes this race can end up being long, drawn out, and kind of boring for the observer. And to make it a little more fun and throw some strategy in there, we said, hey, let's test out stages here and perhaps carry that over to season 3. But we don't plan to do it for the next 4 or 5 races, whatever's left in the season, just because that wasn't already announced. I guess we could look at it, but we definitely want to try it here. It seemed like it worked out pretty well once we modified it a little bit from Monday. And I think it did. So I couldn't keep up with who was doing what. I'll tell you that as far as strategy is concerned, especially from inside the car.
Well, it was tough for us to keep up as well, but I mean, we knew from the beginning of the race when we had that crazy crash. I've never seen anything like that, but we got settled down and it ended up being a fantastic race out there you guys put on.
No, I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun, and happy to bring home a podium, I guess, this week.
Well, man, a podium is still pretty good inside of that money, man. Congratulations on that. Before we let you go, you got any shout-outs or anything?
As always, shout out to my teammates for Vigilante Force. We work a lot on these tracks, and they're great teammates. And then Lori for helping me admin this league and certainly admin the races itself. And then always the broadcast team. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, man. Congrats.
Yeah, congratulations on that 3rd place finish, and good luck the rest of the season here, man. Well, I'm sure we'll see you in victory lane once again.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Well, don't hex the guy now. I mean, come on now. I'm sure we'll see you in victory lane.
Oh, I'm
Sir.
I'm sure of it, but another person we're expecting to see in victory lane, but just coming up short here tonight with a pretty good battle with Ellis here at the end is the 728 of Timothy Pope. Man, Tim, that seemed like it was a very hard and difficult race. You even had to come back from one of those cautions, and you did. But still, it looked like it came down to strategy. You had a pretty good one, just didn't have enough to answer Ellis there.
Yeah, the only way I had a chance was to take 2 tires on the last stop, and they kind of didn't last long enough, I guess.
We were sitting here talking about who we liked for the race, and when we got to Adam, said, "Man, Adam, who's your pick?" He says, "Can I pick somebody besides Pope? Because that's who I'm going to pick." And you never disappoint, even in the face of adversity. You do a great job of working your way back up through the field. Did the tire set limit kind of play into everybody's strategy tonight? We did see some 2-tire stuff early. What did you think about the late action there, taking 2 tires late?
Yeah, I figured I was about 3 seconds back, so that was the only way I could catch the leaders because it's worth about 3 seconds less to take 2 tires. So that's the only way I could think I could have got a chance. And that game put me out front, but I was just too loose the first 2 or 3 laps there, and Ellis got a run and was able to keep it out in front.
Well, you back in the podium. Adversity, like we said, but man, we were watching you there at the tail end of that race. You just drove the daylights out of that truck trying to get back up in front, and you dang near made it all the way to the front from the back. So, hey, heck of a race. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I was a little aggravated on that last run. Getting wrecked. Got in a wreck there.
Drove it like you stole it.
And
But you got any shout-outs or anything like that?
Vigilante, as always, putting the races on in Nowski Nation.
Awesome, man. Well, Tim, congratulations here on the 2nd place finish, man. Good luck the rest of this season. It's definitely heating up to be a pretty good championship.
Yes, it looks like it. Thank you.
All right, so did have a change in random draw. Let's we'll wait and see if Mike jumps on up. But until then, we can start with our race winner here. Oh, as everything's kind of going crazy on me here.
Need help? I can pull somebody up.
No, I think the session closed out, so I can deal with that in a second. But we got our race winner, the number 221 of John Ellis. 3 in a row for that Home Depot machine, man. Yeah, that paint job, I think it's doing you mighty fine.
It's staying on.
That's awesome. Yeah, talk about the race today. I mean, talk about going from way back in the back all the way to the front. You were tonight's hard charger, up 21 spots. What's the secret here? I mean, what kind of practice did you do on each turn? I mean, did you have more problems with one than the other, or was strategy the main name of the game?
I think I really won this on strategy. I mean, I didn't practice much. I ran 10 laps in the practice race and then parked it and watched the NCAA championship game. Race got off to quite the start. I got collected in that wreck. I guess you could call it lap 1, more like 10 seconds in the race. But
yeah,
that I didn't have to burn a fast repair, but it got me off pace to where if I tried to pass or duck out of that draft, I was falling back. So I ended up running the first 60 laps basically not being able to pass, which was frustrating, but I'm glad I saved that fast repair. And I mean, it was starting to get to me, man. I was like, is it the car or am I just bad because I didn't practice? And I ended up taking that fast repair and got decent track position. And I kind of learned throughout the race that, even on fresh tires, it's still not easy to pass. So I kind of prioritize track position over tires or come to get fuel. Man, that caution that came out, I think like 72, 73, I was sweating those pace laps trying to figure out if I was going to come in and top off or or not. And I thought I made the wrong decision, but apparently not. Then I was able to come get 4 fresh ones. I think lap 84, and I think Jess and Tim were on 2 tires, which is why I was able to keep them behind me. But man, that was fun racing with them. I was trying to hit my marks. I struggled in turn 2, the tunnel turn. Felt like I was braking a little too much there, but in turns 1 and 3, I felt like I could pull away from them, which are a little more important in my opinion, just because of the straightaway. So I think that's what did it for me.
Well, you not only had to drive on this one, you got to really think, and so you had a good combination on both, and didn't even practice. So that just is crazy to me for you to be sitting right there. And
Natural talent.
yeah, there's something going on there. So stick with it, man. Good job.
I appreciate it, guys.
Well, before we let you go here, John, it's becoming a thing of consistency here for you. What's some shout outs you got or anything like that?
I'll give the same old shout out. Shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast. I love watching them. Shout out to my teammates, Mike and George. They were running up front all day and just had some bad luck and ended up dropping back late in the race. Want to shout out Jess and Lori for putting this on. And that was a real fun battle with Tim and Jess, man. I love that. It was fun.
Awesome, man. Well, congrats on the 3 in the row. That's really helping out your championship efforts here. And we look forward to seeing what you can do the rest of the season here, bud.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, guys.
All right. So with that, looks like that will kind of close things up here for tonight. We thank you all for tuning in and watching this fantastic race because, man, that turned out to be even more strategy driven than what we thought. We knew there was going to be strategy involved, but not this much strategy because that was a heck of a time that some of these guys had.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough track to handle, tough track to tame, and they did an excellent job out there tonight.
Yeah, Josh Bittner saying that, he made a bad strategy call, allowed himself to get wrecked by ding-dongs. He said it could make for an interesting podcast. I know him and Albert worked real hard on it. And y'all check that out. Be sure to check that out. It's on SoundCloud.com. Go look up Vigilante Report. It's under Ricky Wittenberg's name. He's the main guy. He's the producer, I believe. And the hosts are now Albert Anderson and Josh Bittner. So go check them out. The Vigilante Report over there on SoundCloud. You'll get some insider information, and the guys really do keep you laughing and keep you thinking, and they put on a great show.
And they do. So as we wind things down here from Pocono, let's go ahead and talk about our finishing order here for the night. John Ellis, the hard charger of the day. He doesn't need any rally train. 3 wins in a row for that 221 Home Depot machine, bringing it on in first. You got 728 Timothy Pope finishing here tonight in second with a solid run. Same thing with that 33 at Jess Vaught, a podium third place finish. Jeffrey Ottinger finally changing some luck around here, able to finish in fourth, up 6 spots on the day, so a good run from him. Same thing with Jeremiah Burke, bringing that 753 machine home in fifth. Got that 88 of Eric Klafka finishing here in 6th with the 81 of Jonathan Osborne, trying to battle those 3 guys, but still ends up with a 7th. The 7 of Russ Kilgore ended up here in 8th with the 28 of George Rincon with a very good day himself, up 16 spots, finishing here in 9th. And rounding out tonight's top 10 is that 72 of Chandler Paul.
Yeah, sometimes you make a good strategy call. Sometimes you make a bad call. Sometimes you make a good call, and it comes back to bite you anyway. And that's kind of what happened to Josh Bittner. My horse tonight, my pick for the win, the 84, finishing way back in 11th after starting on the pole. I know he was really looking forward to this race, and I know he's disappointed, but good job at least getting a top 15 here, finishing in 11th. Dave Hot Rod Mayberry in the 29. We saw him involved in quite a bit of action out there on the track tonight, finishing a solid number 12 position. Austin Paul in the 3 machine finished up a couple spots. Pretty solid finish for him. A top 15 for Austin Paul. Deion Jones. Who picked Deion Jones? One of you guys picked Deion Jones to win.
It was me.
And it looked like he was all there towards the front part of this race, but as the laps clicked off and stuff just kept happening to people, and Deion Jones was one of those guys that just got involved in too much stuff out there, but still finished in 14th place. Albert Anderson, America's driver, in the number 2 machine, up a bunch of spots. Great performance by Albert, but it'll just be good enough for 15th. The last truck on the lead lap. Dale Adamson, we saw that truck doing a lot of sideways action out there tonight, dog walking after a bunch of damage. But Dale raced his heart out tonight in the 254 truck. After starting way up in 8th, will finish 16th tonight. Michael Everidge, another cat that we saw him make some brilliant passes out there today, and then we saw him get involved in some junk out there. So still up a couple spots net on the night, finishing in 17th place. Michael Adamson, another guy that was really looking forward to this race. We talked to him on Facebook. He was ready to go and started way up towards the front in 6th. And just bad stuff happened for Mike out there tonight. The 51 truck will finish 18th place. Kelly Keel in the 01, same type of deal. Started way up, top 5. Ended up finishing a lap down in 19th. Russ Endicott, we saw some bold strategy out of that guy. He was trying some old tires, no tires, gained track position, led a few laps out there, but ultimately it did not pay off for him. He'll be the last truck on, 1 lap down, the 257 Russ Endicott, rounding out your top 20.
There you go, 21. Looks like we got the 07 of Jack Dixon. 22, number 14, John Herdzik. 23, Jeff Snyder in the 999 machine. 24, the 211 of Douglas Camp. 205, the 25, the 203 of Earl Evans. 26, the 202 of Justin French. 27th, 15, Jeffrey Green. 28, the number 91 of Rob Green. 29, Ricky Wittenberg, rough night for the 55. And in 30th position, looks like the number 37 of Dustin Reilly.
Rough night for Dustin there, but that is tonight's field here from Pocono. Like I said, thank you all for tuning in and watching. You guys are the reason why we do this and have so much fun, is hanging out with all y'all and enjoying the comments and some of this great racing, but as well as D&D Race Graphix. Thank you all so much for sponsoring this league. That's D&D Race Graphix, Grafix. Look at a lot of these trucks that were out there running around and the beautiful paint schemes that are on them, because Ricky Wittenberg does a fantastic job of doing those, as well as his real-world business of Keller Williams of Johnson City, Tennessee. Give Ricky a call at 423-444-0454 to go ahead and get yourself in contact with a great realtor. Ricky can help you out in that Tennessee area, or even if you're across the United States, he can call around and get you in touch with a realtor that you can trust and kind of get to know and get you into or help you sell a house or anywhere that you're kind of looking for, because buying or selling a house is something you don't want to do alone. Get yourself a great realtor. So with that concludes my racing week here, and especially for us there at AAA Broadcasting. We look forward to seeing you guys here again on Tuesday night when we go back to the HCK Beagles for some plate. No, they're going to Indy, so we're going to see some more kind of intricacy driving from them next week. But, man, it will be a good one for sure. But until then, I'm Alan Brown for Alan English and Adam Turner. We're signing off.
We gone.
See ya.